Hello everybody, this is Arlene from Honeybrook, Pennsylvania in the good old USA, and we are going to attempt to do this new project today, and it's going to be the Civil Soldier, and I'm going to wait a little bit until everybody clicks in here. Let me give it a couple of minutes yet, and we'll see how it goes. Meanwhile, while I'm waiting for people, hang on just a second. Let me start marking this off here. I'm here. I'm just going to start marking my little thing here so I know exactly where I'm going with the hat and all. Should have done it earlier, but of course I'm a last minute person all the time, so that's how it goes. Okay, hang on just a second here. Alright, hi guys. Welcome, welcome. We're going to get started with the Civil Soldier. Alright, this guy right here. And I'm going to try to keep it focused for the most part. It's not always easy with this camera. I don't know why it does that. There we go. And it's an ornament size, so what you're going to start with is a 2 1/2 inch high. And you're going to start with a block that is 1 1/2 by 1 1/2, and it's tapered about a little more than 1/2 up, and I take 1/8 of an inch off of each side. I leave it pretty wide because of the hat and what we have to do with it. Now, if I don't finish it tonight, I will do it next week. I'll see how far we get with it. There's a lot of detail to it, so I don't know how much we'll get done today. So it might be a 2-part series. Then after this one's done, in 2 weeks we'll do a mystery carving. I won't tell you what it is. You'll have to tune in to see what it is. And I think that will be fun. And we're going to use the same size as we are here. We're going to use this particular block. I'm going to do a lot of my ornaments through this. So if you want to order them, you can. You can go on my online store. This is a little bit larger than the nativity set that we did earlier. So let's get started with this thing here. And I hope everybody's doing well. I just heard that Canada still has their border closed, which I cannot blame them at all. We're going to do the brim of this part right here. It's what we're going to put on here. So I kind of measured it a little bit here and there. It's right above the tapering. So what you want to do is just bring this down. Let me see if I have that enough. No, that doesn't look right to me. Nope, it's got to be higher. I looked a little low. I should have marked this earlier just to save some time, but we have all the time in the world because we're not going anywhere yet here in PA. We still have a lot of cases of COVID and all that, and I don't see any of the, hang on just a second, let me see if I can find any of the comments here. Nope, that's not it. Hang on just a second. Let's see here. Nope, that's not it either. Alright, I don't know how to put the comments back on. I prefer to have the comments on, but it's not. So, it is what it is. Hello, Jack. I see that you're here. I guess Jenny's with you. Hello, hello. From this crazy state of PA. Alright, so that's the top part of the hat. Now, it's not really curved. I'm sorry. It goes straight down. It's been a while since I've done this, so I did this at least a month or so ago. And then we're going to turn it. Alright, we're going to turn it. And we're going to go to the back side. So I'm just going to mark the bottom part right here. It's about maybe 3/8 of an inch. No, I'm sorry. A little over maybe 5/8 of an inch up. I always start with the hat. I have some new tools that I'm going to share with you in a little bit here at the end. And what I've come up with. let me sharpen these tools because I haven't really had a chance to do anything much today. I haven't carved like I normally do. I've been extremely busy this past month, emptying out a barn and all that good stuff. So it's been taking a lot of my time. So let's start with the top. Now, we're just going to start there, and we're going to put his feet in at the same time right now. So I'm always losing my pencil. Okay, so we're going to put the feet in. I'm going to measure this a little bit. Okay, so it's going to go over about this far on either side. I always use my finger and my my pencil as a real good indicator. Yeah, that's about right. Okay, so we're going to go up here like this. We're just going to round this off a little bit. We're going to make sure this is the same size on each side as well. Okay, that's good. So we're going to go in here like this. That one might come down a little bit lower. A little bit higher. It's always difficult to get two things of the same, and a lot of times you don't get it the same. That's the problem. A lot of times. Okay, so now we have the feet drawn in there. I'm going to just double check and measure again. It's a little higher up here. That's okay. We can adjust it as we go. We're in no hurry today. I'm in no hurry today, or tonight. Alright, so let's start with getting the hat released. Now the other problem with the hat is we also need this part of the hat right here. So we're going to mark off where that is as well. So we're going to go up a little ways, and we're going to come right down. A little bit smaller down here. Okay, we're going to follow the other line over as well. And the button is supposed to be, you know, this is almost the same size all the way around. Okay, it's not much different. I didn't really advertise the class too much this week. I wasn't sure if I was going to actually do it, but I decided I'll just go ahead and do it today and have something new for you folks. Now, I've done a civil soldier before, but it's not, it's a full standing one. This is a sitting soldier. I have just the head and the eyes. This one has no eyes, no seams, okay? So, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our knife. Did you notice I have two different ones? I did not cut it, it's just I couldn't get it in a different color than white. But, so I have a whole box of white here. So what we're going to do is we're going to first go underneath first, the cap, and we're just going to cut a little bit out, just like so, okay? And then we're going to do another cut right there at the top, and we're going to that's all we want to do right now, okay? The same thing over here with, let me take a look here. We're going to we need to draw this on because I'm going to get mixed up if I don't. So right here is going to be this kind of button that's on the side of his hat. Alright, that you see right there. So I'm going to brighten up my picture here for a second, guys, if I can do that while I'm online. Oops, nope. Okay, I can't do that either. Hang on. Okay. I'm afraid to touch that camera when it's running. I can't see any of the comments. You can comment below. I'll answer when I get offline if you have any questions about it. There will be a DVD on this along with the Uncle Sam. We're going to do these two on one. The Uncle Sam that we did a couple weeks ago. And again, here you can also measure each side to make sure it's the same. Alright. Nothing too exciting here in Pennsylvania. We're still dealing with the COVID quite a bit in PA. It's not as bad as some states, but we still have new cases every day. Our church is not opened up yet. They're planning to, but it's very restricted. There are other churches here that have opened up, and I know the Amish folks have been meeting pretty well regularly. For the most part, I hear their buggies going by all the time. So, okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our knife and we're going to just notch out right there where the foot is, okay? Just like so. You don't want to take too much out there because we're going to have the shape of the foot coming out here, okay? A little bit on the other side as well. Just kind of follow the foot up a little bit and then just notch it out. There you go. Then we're going to follow this line over and down. And we're going to uppercut. That's a stop cut. And we're going to just go for the bottom. You don't want to push too hard. You don't want to push up into your hat area there. Alright. It's been really warm here lately, but today and the last couple of days it's been fairly nice since last Saturday. We had a lot of rain, but I mean for the most part it was pretty good. So we're going to dig that deeper later, but we're going to just go all the way around and do the bottom part of the hat first. I've been busy watching The Amazing Race, the first episodes years ago, and I don't watch it every Sunday. I don't know if it's on yet or not, but I do enjoy it. Not that I would want to do that. But it's an interesting show. Okay, so I'm just rounding it off a little bit. That's a little bit lower than I like, but it's okay. Now, when we're doing the cap, we're going to also take your little V tool, and we're going to follow this all the way down. To that circle. This will just give us a guideline. And then we're going to go back, we're going to chip this out here a little bit, just to give us a... Alright. So now, what we have to do with the hat's a lot of work. It's more work than it looks like, to be honest with you. So what we're going to do is we're going to start molding the hat. We want to make sure that we leave enough room here to put our folds in on the side. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go about part way up right now, and I'm just going to trim it off until we have a circle. Now if you want to make a circle up here, you can. What we're going to do is we're just going to take off the corners a little bit. First we have to make the slant. Okay, the slant is down this way. So actually we're going to be cutting down further in here than up here. So let's do the front part first and then we'll get a better idea. So what I do is I come down and I cut it out, and I keep going a little deeper all the way around. Because this is actually going to come off as well. We're going to round this off a little bit once we have this circle. But we want a little bit of an angle on it, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut this off a little bit right here. I'm sorry, the opposite way. I'm sorry, the other way. This way a little bit. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to just chop a little bit off the front, just like so. Alright? And we're going to go all the way across. And I'm going to get up to that circle, a little bit of a circle there that I did on either side. And you want to make it kind of oval. Alright, so we're going to keep going down here a little bit more. And we're just going to cut that out a little further. Alright, we're going to just cut this out a little bit more. Give us a little more depth in here. You can see it shaping up already. It doesn't take much to get it shaped. But we also want to make sure that it tilts down. Let me see something if that's... See, that's about right. See the distance? It's about right. So we can always go a little bit deeper down this way if it's not enough room. We can just kind of cut that out a little further, a little deeper. Just like so. Okay? So we're going to round this off a little bit more, just a tiny bit. And we're going to round off, we're going to take a little more off here, just so it looks like it's tilting down a little bit. I should have gone a little further deeper, but this is what we end up with. So let me see if I can get another knife that's a little sharper. Of course not. Let's see if this one will work. Oh, there we go, yeah. Nothing like a wonderful sharp knife. So, you have a little bit of a tilt there. That's really all that you want. You don't want it too crazy. You can make it really distinctive if you want. That's up to you. And then I would just put it a bit lower. But because there's only so much room in the block itself, you want to be real careful about that. Okay? So we're going to just do a little bit more here. And then we're going to call it a day for that. Okay, so now what we're also going to do is we're going to cut above that button. We're going to just kind of cut around that a little bit. Right around it. Okay, for right now we're just doing the hat. And we want it to go in a little bit. We want this side to stick out. Alright, we want that side to stick out a little bit. But at the same time I need this a little more rounded. So we're just going to bring this up a little bit, kind of get it more rounded. I'm just eyeballing it. You can also draw a line around once you get that slant in there, because we have a lot more to do on the top part of the hat too. We have to do the portion on the top here and how to dig that out all. So there's a number of things to do. So I'm going to go a little deeper here, just a tiny bit deeper. And we're just going to slice out a little bit more just to give us a little more room. Alright, so that's kind of where we're at. We're going to round this off a little bit on the point. You know, when you do things from a block, you're not going to rip everything out. I hope everybody's doing well and carving a lot. Like I said, I haven't had a lot of time to carve lately. And you know, you have to be in a mood to carve. I don't know about you, but I have to have the... I don't want it to be work. I want it to be fun. So sometimes it can be a little tough to find time and to get in the swing of things here. But I'm just going to go around here. We're going to take that button out later. And then we're going to follow this all the way around. Let's see if I can bring this down and around. We're just going to cut that out. I'm sorry. I'll try to keep it. It's hard to look around the camera all the time. So next time, in 2 weeks from today, if we finish this up today, we're gonna go in a little further, because if you notice, the hat goes up and then it tucks in a little bit down here. What I plan to do is do a mystery carving. So all you need is a 2-inch block, 2.5 inch by 1.5 by 1.5. That's this block that we're working on right now. We'll have a fun time doing something. And you'll have to watch it to find out what it is. I do have these blocks online if you need any, or the nativity set. Some of you posted your nativity sets. They look really, really great. You did an awesome job on that. You really have. It's pretty neat to see that. So you know, keep sending those pictures over or putting them on my page. All right, so let's take a look here for a second. Something doesn't look right. The hat's got to be a little thinner, maybe. Let's just bring this down a little bit and kind of round it off. This is pretty good up here. All right. Same thing here. Round it off a little bit, and then we'll put the things in. So what you want to do is you want to take all that rough stuff off, if you can. You know, just take all that rough stuff off everywhere. These are fun to do. I mean, they don't take a lot of time to do. These blocks. I like doing the ornament size because it's just so much easier sometimes than doing something larger. And you can finish them up pretty quick once you start. So, of course, we went in here. We're going to trim this down a little bit to give it a little bit of a brim. Okay, on either side. See where it's open there where we did our stop cut. So we're going to just kind of take that out a little bit. Alright. So that's, so far, these are not ears. They kind of look like ears, but they're not ears. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start working on the feet for a second. So I'm going to take my nice little V tool here, and I'm going to just follow the feet all the way around. Just to give me an idea where to go. I already have them. Alright, and the feet are kind of small. I didn't make them real big on this guy. You know, it's... I wish I could see your comments. I just can't. It's just not happening today. So if I'm not answering you, I don't see your comments. You can leave comments on the page there below, and I'll look at it later. I'll try to answer everybody later. So I go back and I recut it again. Okay, that's what I do. Okay. All right. This one, I'm going to take this back here because I just can't see that well over there. All right. So I chopped a little bit too much off that foot, but I'll fix it. It's always a way of fixing things. Just make the foot a bit skinnier. That's all on both sides. Make it match. It's always a way to repair it. All right. Now, with that done, I'm going to do the top here real quick. If I can find my hefty little thing here, we're going to just draw a little circle. Just like so. Now folks, you really do need a sharp V tool for this, or a knife. You can take a knife and do a stop cut and make your V cut on either side if you want, or you can just use your V tool, which I'm going to use. And the V tool, it's really handy because I rest my thumb on it usually, and then I go around. And I just kind of take my time. And if I have to bring it up, it's okay. This will give me a nice pattern that I can follow with my knife, instead of trying to make that circle with the knife. Okay, so just take little strokes like that. It usually works pretty well. I will have this up on YouTube in a couple hours after we're done here tonight. And then I'm trying to even everything out a little bit. Beauty of carving, you can just slice off every so often if something doesn't fit right. Alright. No hot chocolate tonight. It's too hot. I have iced tea today. So I'm going to go down here deeper. And I'm just going to follow it a little bit with my knife. Just like so. I might go over a little bit, but I have it at an angle. okay, when I do this. And I don't know how many of you are still staying home for the most part, but a lot of my friends will not go to a restaurant yet, neither will I. I'll order and eat it at home, but it does restrict a lot of places we can go. I've been grocery shopping, I've been doing normal shopping. Most people here in Pierre are wearing a mask now. There's very few people that don't wear it. And I know that's a whole debate for some folks, but I'll be certainly glad when we can all go back to normal. I have not been able to see my family for the last 6 months either. They're in Canada and I'm here, so it makes it a little bit different. I don't ever remember a time that we had the borders closed in my lifetime. I would have never have thought that in 100 years we would ever close the border and that we couldn't cross to see each other. So I do miss the help and the people that used to come down, like Jenny and Jack and my sister Ann. And I miss seeing them, you know, but that's just the way it's gone. And of all years I could have used a lot of help was this year. But it's just the way it turned out. And so far everything's done. I just took my time and figured out how to do it on my own. So, but I look forward to seeing them soon again. Maybe next spring. We just talked yesterday about that. And I think next spring might be in 21 we might be able to do something. So I'm going around and I'm just evening out and having that little lip on the top of his hat. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is figure out where his nose goes. We might finish this up tonight, the rate we're going. So of course it doesn't have any eyes, so we're going to go down a little bit here. And I just want to say, though, I had some great friends helping me out with things I need to get done here. So, you know, it's good to have some good friends in your corner, and a good church behind you also helps. So, you know, it's always a blessing when you have people you know you can count on when other people can't be here for various reasons. So that's the nose. So we're going to cut the bottom part of the nose. All right. We're just going to do a little bit there. Okay, I'm going to stop there for a second because I want to put his mustache in. Now, you see, he doesn't have a beard, so we're going to have to put the mustache in. So really, it's only the nose, the cheek, the mustache, the lips, and the bottom part of his chin. And I came up with this idea when I wanted to make an ornament with the same series of, like, American series, like American history and the 4th of July. I might have a different regular soldier I was thinking of doing, soldier head with a regular helmet, but I haven't decided to do that yet. I haven't come up with that. But I have come up, today I came up with something a little new, and I think it might be fun to do that as the mystery thing later. And it will be an ornament size. So that will be definitely fun to do. So what we're going to do here, his mustache comes down and comes out and goes to his foot. So I'm going to measure here how high I had to go. And let me just do that here. And right there. Okay, right there. And right there. I certainly have not been bored through the pandemic for sure. I mean, it's been a crazy, unreal time for everybody. We're not the only ones that have dealt with, you know, family separations and people being sick or losing loved ones during this time. It's been very difficult for people, but we're very grateful that most of our family is good and healthy, and there's not much more you can ask than that. So, okay, so that goes up and down like a very small S, okay, a backward S, and let's see if we can do this here too. And then we will go about up to here, and we'll just round it, just like so, okay? Same thing here. We're going to just I might have to go up a little bit because I want that mouth in there. So I'm going to go bring this up a little bit more. It'd be easier if I did this ahead of time, but just the way it goes. So I'm going to go to this. When you cut it into your faces, especially with your nose, you want to do it parallel with your corner, okay? You don't want to do it like this. You don't want to do it like this. You want to go straight, like just like you look at it, you want to go straight in. So as much as possible, do it parallel to your corner. Then you're not going to be having knife marks on your inside of the nose. And then up here, underneath the hat, I just cut it a little bit deeper in that area where it's hidden, under the eyes are hidden. That should pop right out. If not, try not to flick it out like I just did. Hopefully it will just pop out on its own. But see, that part did not come out. So I go back usually and I put another pass with the knife. And then I take the tip of the knife and I just kind of cut the whole thing out. Okay? Just like so. There you go. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Now, some of you gave me a couple ideas. One person asked if I would do a chess set. Well, I would, but I don't play chess, so I'm not familiar with all the pieces, but I've seen people do little hillbilly chess sets. And that might kind of be fun to do. So I will look into that. And that will be like a number of week project as well. I'm trying to find something that we can do like a couple weeks or 4 or 5 or 6 weeks at a time. Especially over the winter months, when I think things might even be a little more less traveled time at that time. Right now everybody's out and about pretty well because the weather's good. So we're going to round this nose off just a tiny bit. Okay, so it's coming along, okay? Okay, so now the mouth. So the first thing I do is I usually take my knife and I go as deep as I can without stabbing it to death. I usually just do a small pass like this. And the same thing with the other side. And I sometimes rest it on the board or on your table and try to go straight in, okay? Try to go straight in. And you're going to follow that line all the way out. And the same thing with the top one. But what I usually do is I usually just chip it out a little bit, and that's where his mouth will go. His lip will come right out underneath there. All right. And the same thing with the mustache on the top. I take it all the way to the foot, and I cut from the top down, just like so. All right. So this is his cheek, and we're gonna bring this in a little bit on either side because this should not be there. Okay. So we're going to dig this out a little bit here and try to get his foot out a little bit more. Alright. Now, for any reason the camera shuts off, it's because I don't have enough memory in it. And if that happens, I'll stop and we'll continue on next week if it shuts off. If it stays the same, we'll get through it. Alright, so we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to follow that line for the mustache all the way down to his foot, and we're going to just go on the top and take that out. We're going to do the same thing with the bottom. Alright, so you see it's coming along. And then we'll do the same thing over here. I don't think I have that clear enough for me to see it from here, so let me just redo that a little bit. Yeah, good. So take your knife and you go ahead and slice that out. Put your stop, cut in, and then undercut it. And you want to be careful not to push your knife too far that you're cutting into things. Alright, so I'm going to just redo this again a little bit. And we're going to just take that out a little bit right there. Now here, his chin sticks out a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut by the foot here on either side. We're going to just cut that out a little bit and release the foot. Okay, so that looks more like a chin. All right, same thing with the side. Okay, maybe a little more. But this all comes out, you know, this comes out yet. And we round this off a little bit on the bottom, just like so. Take off all this hard stuff. I've got to sharpen my tools here for a second, folks. Hang on. What I use is just a strap with leather on either side. One has some black compound on it. The other side is clear. You can do one rough, one smooth if you want. You can see I've really beat the crap out of this thing. But, excuse the expression, but I try to keep one of these on hand because sometimes I don't have my buffer with me all the time, especially here in the house. Since I'm doing more carving here, I will eventually, when I have all my armoires set up and I can do one section with carving and one section of painting without switching everything around. So that's coming up. So let's see how it works. Oh, nice. Yes, yes, yes. Yep. Okay, so we were over here, and let's just cut that out a little bit. See what a difference? Just a few strokes on that thing can make a world of difference with cutting. Okay, so that's his chin there. We're going to, I'm going to round this off just a tiny bit. Okay, we're going to round this off here. Okay, and here. And then later on, you can do all the final things where you go around and you just slowly take off all that rough stuff and go back and recut things. A lot of times when I do a carving like this, I'll look at it and say, okay, where can I go a little bit deeper to make it pop out more? Okay, like for instance, let me show you right here where the nose and the mustache meets. I put a little triangular cut a lot of times. And you'll see exactly what I mean once I get that. See, I pop that out. See the little bit of a shadow that you now see versus leaving it flat? That gives it the depth that you want for things to really pop out. That nose sticks out more, or that cheek sticks out more, the mustache, one of those things. So you want to do that. Meanwhile, we're going to round off the bottom part of the mustache. Now, you could also recut it down here and make this really distinct. It doesn't take a lot of cuts to make things pop out and really come out really clear. Alright, so right here is where we're going to put the mouth more. So let me just round this down a little bit, because that's going to be his chin. And then right here where his mouth is, we're going to put a little bit more of a cut in there. And we're going to zoom that out a little bit more, just a tiny bit. And then what you want to do is take your little V tool or your knife, either one, and you're going to just draw a little bit of a lip in there. It doesn't have to be that big, just like so, okay? It doesn't have to be real huge. It just has to be, you know, a little bit round that you can put a lip. Now, I'm going to use my knife because I don't want to, I don't know how sharp that tool is yet without taking it to the buffer. So I'm just going to cut it, and then I'm going to undercut and I use a slicing motion a lot of times. If I'm getting into an area that I think is getting really, I have to be really careful. And if I'm not sure, I'll use a little slicing motion, putting the knife back and forth so that I don't do anything to that lip, okay? So that will pop out more once we paint it. You'll see it. It'll a little triangular cut, and then I just go back, and so that's how you put the lip in. Okay, all this is going to come off. This can be rounded off a little bit more and cleaned up. We don't have to put them. We don't have to put any lines or anything, because that's just his chin. It's not a beard or anything there. So that makes it a little easier. And let's see if we can do a little more depth cutting here. Oh, come on now. Okay. Okay, see the difference on one side versus the other? It's not very deep. So we go back and we can cut it a little deeper and at an angle. You don't want to cut it flat, because then that doesn't give you the depth you want. Okay, see that little shadowing that we see? That's the difference when you do, and a lot of it's like relief carving. So now we got this done, we've got the other done. We can do the beard real quick after we're done. We'll put the little lines in it and clean it up a little bit. I'm going to do the buttons here for a second, so we're going to round that off, round this off, and then I take the V tool, and I'm just going to follow that line, just like so. Okay, on either side. There's a faint line there yet. Okay, see the buttons coming out? Okay. You can make that as rounded or square or whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. I try to round it a little bit, but they're rounded. Now I'll take my knife and fuss with it a little bit more. Right here, I still want to take a little more out of that foot area. Okay, just like so. Alright, that looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. And let's see if we can just make that a little bit distinguished a little bit more. A little bit deeper for the brim of the hat there. Yeah, I like that. That's better. Okay, and the same thing over here. We can just make that a tiny bit deeper. Just put a little bit of a V cut and clean it up a little bit. That's usually all you need to do. Alright. Alright. Now, if you want, it's up to you. If you want to put a little bit of a cross on the top here, you can do that. You can either paint it on or you can cut it in. I usually cut mine in, and what I usually do, and I know it's very intricate and small, but I just put one line here, just like so, and I put a square like so. And I do the same thing kind of on the other side. Now I don't have a lot of room here, and I don't know if I'll cut all this out, but if you take your knife and you cut it out very, very carefully, the hard part is getting that center out. This part right there is very hard to get out, because you don't want to chip into your hat, and you know it's a real difficult little carving to do. But if you want to paint it on, you can. It's optional. Alright, I usually like to put it on, and then I do like a bit of a printout like this first to see if I can get it anywhere close to what I want it to be. And then I go back with the knife, and what I do is I cut this out first, this V out first, then this one, then this one, then the tops, and then I try to dig a little bit out of the bottom. So that's how that's done. Alright, so I'm going to keep cleaning this up a little bit more, because I'm not quite happy with that. I'll clean more of it when I get offline as well. So the next thing we have to do with this hat, the only other thing we have to do is we have to put these little creases in, okay, on the hat. So what we do is, there's usually 3, okay, one from the bottom. So what I do is I take my pencil and I kind of put one here, one here, and one here, okay? And then I do the same thing with the other side. One here, I'm sorry, one here, just to give me an idea where to cut. All right. So what I do is I take my knife. I don't take the V-tool, I take the knife. And I just put a stop cut in, and I go from either side, and I start making my little cuts, okay? And then I do the next one. You can go down the center first. Usually it's easier, because then you have something to carve to. And then the second one, the third one is the same way. Now, when you look at it, that's how it should look. Now, you can bring it out forward a little bit like I did here. You know, you can do a little, those are the creases in the hat. You can do it either way. You can use your little V-tool and pull it out a little further if you want, but I usually just do it with the knife, and it comes out pretty clear. And then I go back, after I do the initial cuts, I go back and clean it up and make it a little bit deeper or a little bit wider when I look at it and think, okay, does that look right? Or does that look not right? That's what I base it on what I see. Now, let's do the top here. That's pretty well it, you know, and that's kind of sticking out a little bit, so you can round that off a little bit if you want. You know, there's a lot of leeway here for you. So that's how you do the hat, and you can bring this over further to the front because it's going to the front of the hat, not the back part of the hat when it's folded. So see, the creases come over further, and that's what I mean. You go back, and then you can clean it up and make it a little bit longer if you want, you know, and just have it come over just a tad bit more. This one was pretty deep already, but when you look at it from the sides, you can see it. Okay, usually from the back you can tell of the creases, you know. So that's how that's done. Okay, the back part is pretty simple. It's just rounding off your one piece here and get rid of that corner. And again, we're just rounding things off a little bit on the hat. Top and bottom of the brim going around, or I don't know what you call it. The trim. Trim and the brim, I guess. Anyway, that's usually how that's done. Okay. Then I go around here and I just fuss with these buttons a little bit. I try to cut them out so they stick out a little bit and round them up and kind of blend this underneath it like it's tucked underneath. There you go. I'll definitely take time and clean everything up. I'm trying to hurry a little bit because of the amount of time that it's taking. Alright, let me start with the feet. Again, what we're going to do is we're just going to trim this out a little bit. I'm sorry, there you go. And I measure it this way, and I measure it over here. It's the same thing. So, okay, very good. And then I just take a V-tool. I usually take a V-tool and just follow that out and up. That'll give me an idea where to go with my knife. All right. All right. So I do like a big V cut in the back of this thing. There we go. For his foot. Okay. That's all you do. Nice big V cut. And I put little heels on them going across. I just add a little heel. So, alright, just like that. Try to keep it the same on both sides. So that's there. Then I take this up a little bit. And you do both sides like that, you know. One's a little shorter, you just make it shorter. It's not a big deal. Alright, now, the mustache. Okay, now here again is where you can put a lot of this, like right here where the foot is. You may want to dig a little more out there. Have that foot sticking out a little bit more, you know. And just kind of round it up and make sure you clean it up a little bit. So when you do this mustache, let's clean this up because I want to show you how to do this real quick. That's cleaned up. Let's do the other side. Okay. So you're going to take your hefty little V tool, and the mustache just goes down. And it curves a little bit. So if you need to give yourself a little bit of guidance with that, what you want to do is just take your pencil and mark how to do it. Usually I do the top part first. So when I do this, I usually go up to the nose. Let me sharpen this for a second. I'm just doing it on the strop here for a second. Alright, let's see what we have here. So when we do this, I want it to come down and turn. So I'm going to slowly go up. And then I want it to turn to the bottom. I want it to turn out. And then I just blend it. Just take little strokes back and forth and flip it around and try to go the other way. So it looks like it's kind of blending together. The deeper you go, you don't want to go real deep with it with the V-tool. You just want to do a little bit, just like so. Alright? And then we'll do the other side. Let me just carve that down a little bit. I don't like how that looks. Okay. And then I go around. I usually do the outskirts first, and then I blend the middle. That's usually how I do it. And then this blends out, so I curve this out a little bit. And then I kind of blend it together in the center. I'll look at it and see if there's anything else. So there is our little thing here. We're not quite done. Let me finish this up here. Nice little V cut right there to bring that foot out a little bit more. Yep, and then this rounds off a little bit more as well because we don't want a square bottom there. So, and roughly that's how we make these little guys. Now I'll take the time right now and show you how to do that top. I'll try to be really careful when I do it. So what I do is I usually do the first cut, little V cut on the top, and then I bring it down. It's kind of hard for me to see because I don't this thing's in my way, but and then I do the next one and cut that out very carefully. See how it's starting to pop out a little bit. And the same thing over here. Yeah, just kind of go in, do a little V cut, straight in. And then if it doesn't come out, don't pull it out. You don't want the knife to do the work, because if you pull it out, you're going to pull part of this out as well. Alright? And then you go to each top, go across, and just cut a little bit out. And the same thing over here. This one might be a little bit too thin, but I'll thin the other two out. Sometimes they're not the same size. I notice that now too. So I'll just go back and make it a little bit smaller. But it takes a little bit of time to do that, okay? And once you're done, you want to make a little hole right here with your knife. You just want to kind of find where the center is and fuss with it. I can't do it a whole lot without taking it closer to my face to look at it. But that's how I do it. So I do each corner and each side, and then I do each top and bottom, and then I cut a little hole here at the bottom with my knife, and that just takes a little bit of time to do. But that's how I do my little silver soldier ornament. So there you go, guys. That's roughly how it's done, and you can thin it out a little bit more if you want. That's up to you. Same thing with the cap. You can have it down a little bit more here as well. I'm going to fuss with this a lot more once I get off, but I don't want to spend the time just tinkering with it for a long time for the video's sake of time. But that's roughly how it's done, and I hope you enjoyed it. And maybe we'll have in 2 weeks we'll have a mystery carving. Something a little different I came up with, but I think you'll enjoy it. Alright, so you'll have to wait and see what that's about. So have a great night. Thanks for joining me here on the Carver's Woodshop. Hello everybody, and have a great night.